interest. It has been scheduled for trial in the Bloemfontein High Court for the entire second term next year, beginning on the 14th of April. You will also know from the media coverage on the High Court to begin on the 11th of March next year. You will also know from recent media coverage the untimely and sad demise of our acting High Court judge as well as our regional court magistrate from Heilbron, Ms. Tamai. We are busy with the extradition, working together very closely with SAPS and our counterparts in Lesotho. There was also another high-profile murder of a farmer and teacher in Harrismith in the matter of Stays versus Montevidi and others, where the prosecution will also take place in the High Court, sitting on circuit. I want to just touch on our High Court achievements. In the High Court is managed by the following deputies: Advocate Woodman, who is absent today, who is on leave, Advocate Blanchwin, Advocate Ntetwa, and Advocate Pretorius. We had the following successes. In the case of State versus Para and two others, the High Court sitting on Belcom sentenced the accused to 2 life sentences plus a further 79 years imprisonment for the death of the murder of the Belcom CUT student Nini Puri. That matter was finalized not too long ago. Also, the High Court unit deals with environmental and stock theft matters. In addition, 2 drug projects were registered recently in the Mangaung and the Belcom area. Of great concern, knowing that we are a rural province, stock theft has become very rampant in the Free State and remains a very high priority. We have entrusted a senior state advocate from this office to oversee all stock theft matters in this province, and he must ensure constant engagement with various police members, the stakeholders, as well as the community. This is done together with the chief prosecutors, especially those in the Bethlehem and Harrismith areas. In another one of our environmental matters that were tended to by our High Court, the case of State versus Sibanda and others, the accused was convicted of removing 50 endangered cycads. He was caught in the act, and after conviction, he was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. To touch on the Bloemfontein cluster, as I indicated earlier, Mr. Makroko is heading the Bloemfontein cluster. Over and above his lower court duties, he also heads the anti-corruption task team, which was launched in 2021. It has become evident that this national priority needed to be addressed specifically with a dedicated focus within the province, both provincially and at cluster level. The initiative addressed the scourge of corruption matters within the government and private sector. The following are some recent successes recorded by the anti-corruption task team. State versus Lepaje in the Ladyman District Court, the accused was convicted of corruption and sentenced to 12,000 Rand or 30 days imprisonment. State versus Abdullah in the Edenburg Regional Court, the accused was convicted of corruption and sentenced to 10,000 Rand or 5 years imprisonment. State versus Papane, the accused was found guilty of 56 counts of money laundering, various counts of fraud, contravention of the Estate Agents Act, and was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. State versus Ngabezulu in the regional court, the matter was finalized in August this year. The accused is a SAPS official who was charged with corruption as well as defeating the end of justice and was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment, wholly suspended. State versus Lenono and other in the Lady Brand District Court, finalized in August this year. The accused was sentenced to 3,000 Rand or 60 days imprisonment for fraud and other counts. State versus Ratiba in the Bloemfontein Regional Court, the accused was a Department of Justice official who was found guilty of fraud. She was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment wholly suspended for 5 years, plus a further 36 months of correctional supervision. And in the state versus MG Ngomezulu, it was a social worker who was found guilty of corruption as well as other counts, sentenced to 6,000 rand for 3 years, plus another 3,000 rand for 3 years imprisonment. Also headed by Mr. Matloko is the Essential Infrastructure Task Team. In light of the successes of the anti-corruption task team, the next priority that was tackled was the tampering, damaging, and theft of essential infrastructure in the province. The same principle and roadmap as used above in the dedicated task team was used to address this critical problem. The following cases are evidence of this initiative and the excellent cooperation between all the stakeholders. State versus Mohane in Kroonstad, the accused was convicted of possession of Transnet copper cables, as well as being an illegal immigrant. The accused was found guilty and sentenced to 12 years direct imprisonment. State versus Ngezani and others, Sasolburg, the accused was found in possession of 390 kilograms of Transnet property. The accused was sentenced to 15 years direct imprisonment. State versus Mlambo and another, Viljoensdrift, the accused was found in possession of 95,000 rand worth of Transnet property and was charged also with tampering, theft, as well as being an illegal immigrant. The accused was sentenced to 10 years direct imprisonment. State versus Tupana in Samdela, the accused was also found in possession of Transnet property and he was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. In Bloemfontein Regional Court, State versus Tava was convicted of copper cable theft to the value of 136,000 rand and was sentenced to 20 years direct imprisonment. In Matuli Regional Court, State versus Low and another, accused was convicted of copper theft from Semplek and sentenced to 15 years direct imprisonment. So these are the wonderful successes that I use this opportunity to share with you. As indicated earlier, the Belfast cluster is headed by Advocate Joyce Mokwena, who is the cluster head and in charge of the district and regional courts. Over and above her duties as the cluster head, she has also been entrusted with the gender-based violence and femicide task team, as well as overseeing the illicit mining operation. The gender-based violence task team was launched on the 13th of November 2021, and it is constituted by high-ranking officials from various departments, including and predominantly the NPA and SAPS. Most of the cases in this team are finalized within a 6-month period from date of inception or date of enrollment, which is remarkable performance if we compare it to previous years. This team enhances and ensures that the quality of investigation is enhanced, prosecution and speedy finalization of all cases, particularly our sexual offences cases, domestic violence cases, high-profile cases, serial rapes, and all femicide matters. Fortunately, the team has established good working relations with all stakeholders in the province, working very closely with the Department of Health, the Department of Social Development, together with local NGOs. We have also placed, together with the support of the Department of Social Development, various social workers in many of our local courts to attend to victims of domestic violence who have been influenced to not proceed with the case. So the social workers provide intervention and are able to guide and assist these victims appropriately. The following cases are but a handful of the many cases monitored by the team and finalized within a very short period from the date of enrollment. The first case is State versus Moscow Yiva. It's a rates matter which was finalized in our High Court. The deceased, who was a police official, was murdered by her boyfriend. He was finalized to 15 years imprisonment. This case was finalized within 10 months from date of enrollment to sentence. State versus Rapuleng and another in Tabon, an 8-year-old girl child was kidnapped and murdered. The accused was sentenced also to life imprisonment, and that matter was finalized in the High Court. State versus Samuel Somani, Kakisonon, the accused stabbed his mother to death and attempted to murder his uncle. This matter was finalized from inception within a period of 5 months, and the accused was sentenced to 25 years imprisonment. We also have a Virginia matter, State versus Benedict Sediso, where the accused raped and killed his various victims by stabbing them. He was sentenced to 4 life terms. Under the broad category of sexual offences, we have the matter of State versus Seliadi, a Tawanchu matter, where the accused was a pastor who raped a church member. He was sentenced to 18 years imprisonment. We have the case of State versus Mpo Mojawa in Ruasedal. The accused raped and robbed the victim. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. This matter was finalized within 5 months from the date of enrollment to sentence. We also have the case of State versus Maketa, who was a serial rapist and was linked by way of DNA in terms of our DNA project, which has hailed numerous successes for us. The accused was thereafter convicted of 6 counts of rape, various other counts, and was sentenced to a total of 119 years of imprisonment. Domestic violence matters. Domestic violence and all cases involving vulnerable members of our community are always prioritized. I will cite 2 such cases. In the regional court in Bloemfontein, in the matter of State versus Mackenzie Ratzelane, you will all know that this was recently finalized by Mr. Selo Matloko, the ex-husband of the Lesedi FM Current Affairs presenter, Ms. Ratzelane. He was convicted and sentenced to 9 years imprisonment for attempted murder. And we also have the matter of State versus Jan Dipoko, a Melody matter, where the accused beat and stabbed his wife with a knife. The wife insisted on withdrawing the matter. She did not want to proceed. We eventually proceeded, and the accused was found guilty of attempted murder and sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Also headed by Advocate Joyce Mokwena is the illicit mining team. This is a serious priority area, not only in the province, but throughout because it has grave consequences on the economy. Through cooperation and an ongoing collaborative operation between the various stakeholders, including Harmony Gold, Protea Point, Bidvest, DPCI, and SAPS, this problem has been greatly reduced and is currently at the lowest figures that we have seen in years. This is a testament to the necessity for active law enforcement and cooperation between the NPA and its various partners. Now we come to the SCCU, which is our specialized community crime unit, headed by our Advocate Justice Makamela. As I indicated earlier, they managed to finalize 15 of our more serious SCCU matters. I will just touch on broadly. The SCCU is responsible for the prosecution of serious commercial crimes and serious corruption offences. These include the prosecution of provincial and local government officials, municipal officials, cases emanating from the Zondo Commission, cases emanating from the SIU, FIC, and other bodies. The SCCU plays a pivotal role in the fight against the debilitating fraud and corruption. Recently, the SCCU Free State Division enrolled 6 priority cases in the first 2 quarters of the year. I just want to mention and highlight 2, which has also been of high media interest. The State versus Lokwana Khamesi and 4 others emanating from the Bachobeng local municipality. This involved fraud and corruption of 13 million rand to render services in the certain area relating to a Kalong stormwater system, which services was never provided. We also had a recent successful finalization of the State versus Kifar and 5 others, where the accused was a chief financial officer, also acting as municipal manager, who appointed other members and made false representations. Ultimately, there were fraud and corruption to the value of 2.1 million rand. This matter was successfully finalized, where the accused was sentenced to 8 years imprisonment and is also currently serving another term of 10 years imprisonment on another matter. Now we come to our specialized tax unit headed by Advocate Sampisi. As you will know, that we finalized 5 high-level tax matters recently with 100% conviction rate. We also have a number of matters pending. Pending is the Moteko projects, and the other where one of the directors of the company is Gift Makashule. The case is on the roll with a possible prejudicial value of 474,000. The matter is coming up for trial on the 27th of November this year. We also have another pending matter of State Buthelezi and others, where the tax prejudice is to the value of 130 million. And also finalized recently was the State versus the Elegant Line matter, where the accused was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment and had to pay back an amount of 372,000 rand. Also finalized was a part of State versus the Ori Group matter, which was finalized on the 18th of July this year, where the accused were sentenced to various amounts of fine and for contributions of the Tax Administration Act, etc. Now we come to the asset forfeiture unit, which is headed by Advocate Intumutsi, who is our regional head. Some of the matters that have been finalized successfully in terms of their criteria is the MT2 systems matter, where the defendants were charged and convicted on multiple counts of fraud and contraventions of the Tax Administration Act. Here, the prejudice was to the approximate value of 6 million rand. And then we had some fuel-related matters also within the asset forfeiture domain. Jacob Kosa, in this particular case, a Scania truck, trailer, and Land Cruiser were seized by the police when the truck was stopped in the Vrede district for transporting stolen Transnet diesel to the value of 500,000 rand. The Land Cruiser that were transporting the fuel pumps, together with the tanker and the Scania truck, were forfeited to the state, and the value was 600,000 rand. In the case of Tatenda Chirena, 4 trucks and 8 tankers were forfeited to the state by the AFU. This was after the trucks were found on the farm road in Warden after they had stolen 200,000 liters of diesel from the Transnet pipeline. Money laundering. Firstly, we want to state the matter of the Maru Ampula. The asset forfeiture unit was granted a preservation order of almost 4 million rand against the Maru Ampula Limited Company. This was after more than 5 million rand was stolen from the Lesotho government and transferred to a bank in South Africa. The money is alleged to be proceeds of crime, of fraud and corruption committed against the Lesotho government by its employees as well as other private individuals. Also, another asset forfeiture matter is a rape matter of John Mohawi. In November, the complainant, who was traveling from Brandfort to Tennyson, got a lift from the accused person. During the transportation, he raped her. This vehicle, a Hyundai i10, which belonged to the accused, was granted a preservation order as an instrumentality and was seized by the state. Coming now to our SOCA regional head, Advocate Wasby, who is in charge of the SOCA's maintenance, court preparation officer, as well as the community prosecution initiative. The SOCA unit was established by presidential proclamation in October 1999. The mandate was to develop best practices and policies in the reduction of gender-based violence against women and children while improving prosecution. The maintenance project As part of the National Strategic Plan Pillar 3, the Free State Division initiated a 100-day maintenance challenge. We had tremendous success. As you all know, the pandemic, together with its aftermath of unemployment, caused an exponential increase in the maintenance cases in our courts. The 100-day maintenance challenge was able to ensure that we finalize these cases at a much faster pace to ensure that children receive their maintenance monies. 2 targets were set to improve the finalization rate by 75% and to reduce the case backlog by 75%. Both these targets were set. Towards the beginning of this year, the following courts were involved in this maintenance project, which was Bloemfontein, Welkom, Puerto and Woodendalsrus, and overall we've seen an improvement in 73% in these maintenance matters. In terms of outreaches, public awareness campaigns, mass outreaches are ongoing in the province. One of the new initiatives of the SOCA unit is the tavern posters. SOCA Free State created posters which were distributed and installed in many of the taverns in our province. The provincial manager, Mayor Maswi, met with tavern owners to obtain their permission to display the posters in their taverns. These posters are informative and a visual representation of the services that are offered at the Thuthuzela care centers. So far, posters have been placed in 50 taverns in the province. School video. Recently, the SOCA unit also launched a school video. This video is about the various sexual offenses that school children may be victims of or may be involved in as perpetrators. This video advises children where to seek help. The video also allows the child, the parent and the teacher to learn about sexual offenses in the comfort of their own home. Hopefully, with the support of the Department of Education, we will be able to roll out this video to every school and to every student in our province. Regarding the CPOs, the NPA has victim assessment officers located at every Thuthuzela care center in the province. These victim assistant officers work like court preparation officers, but at our TCCs. They are responsible for trauma debriefing as well as preparing our witnesses for court. When a victim is raped, she must proceed immediately to her nearest TCC. She will be seen by the TCC officer who is able to offer emotional and other support and to ensure that her statement is taken as soon as possible, that she is seen by a psychologist and she is offered other necessary resources. In our province, we have 4 Thuthuzela care centers. We have the Sepong, one in Bloemfontein, we have Bongani in Welkom, we have the Pekolong in Bethlehem, and then we have the Metsimaholo in Sasolburg. We are also planning on hopefully rolling out the 5th TCC, which is going to be based at the Elizabeth Cross Hospital in Puerto. We have also identified a potential site at Botshabelo due to the high number of incoming cases that we have seen in this area. Community Prosecuting Initiative. Our Community Prosecuting Initiative is a new initiative that has been launched, and the purpose is to promote access to justice by placing prosecutors within the reach of the community. Community prosecutors are not reactive case prosecutors. They use proactive problem solving to attack crime at its source with the goal of crime prevention by working together with the community. The Community Prosecuting Initiative is responsible for the formation of partnerships with various government departments and NGOs to detect community concerns and crime, to provide education, to provide information, and to provide visibility of prosecutors in the various communities. Currently in the Free State, we have the following community prosecuting initiative sites: Sasolburg, where the focus is on drug and substance abuse; Bethlehem, where the focus is on drug and substance abuse; Botshabelo and Mangaung, where the same focus persists; and in Bloomsbury, we focus on gender-based violence. The senior prosecutor for community prosecutions is Advocate Vuyani Witboy, who is situated in the DPP's office. In the Welkom cluster, we have two sites: Sasolburg, which focuses on the drug and substance abuse, and we also have the following initiatives where the prosecutor will visit local clinics, hospitals, schools, try to educate the public on their rights, on laws, and the idea is to empower our public to recognize when criminal activity is taking place. Several drug houses were identified by the community, and the matter is underway, being investigated by SEPS. In the Bloemfontein cluster, we have the Bloemfontein site, which also focuses on drug and substance abuse. Recent reports of drug use and violence in schools have caused us to roll out this project. The CPI has partnered with the Mangaung Youth and Social Responsibility Committee, comprising of the Department of Education, South African Police, Department of Correctional Services, and other NGOs such as Community Fighting Crime, Business Watch, etc. And this partnership has resulted in successful crime prevention and solution-based community and school campaigns. The community has addressed learners, teachers, parents, and various community leaders on issues of violence, drugs, gangsterism, cybercrimes, bullying, and others. This campaign was rolled out to 5 schools in the Mangaung and Botshabelo areas, and the focus was on the negative effects of bullying, being able to identify bullying, gangsterism, assaults in school, the application, and we also educated the students and the community on issues of common purpose, etc. In closing, the successful prosecution of all our matters is enhanced by the continued and good work of our various task teams, of our various leaders in their various positions and leadership. The focus is on government, municipal corruption, or levels of corruption, as well as the others which I have alluded to. The division will prioritize and focus on organized crime and address and remove profits made by crime, by criminal enterprises. The division will identify ways to capacitate and invigorate the organized crime component, both in the High Court as well as in the lower courts, through training and building bonds and forging bonds with stakeholders, especially SEPS, DPCI, the organized crime components, as well as our various other stakeholders. We will be able to achieve success in all our projects that we set our hearts on. I would also like to thank all members present and give particular commendation to the great team without whom we will never be able to achieve anything. The successes which I have illustrated here this morning is not the work of a single individual. It is a work of a united and enhanced team, which all credit must go to for ensuring that we work together with the community, with our stakeholders, to ensure that we effectively address crime.
Thank you, DPP, for your presentation. We are now going to give the platform to the media. If there's any question that you want to ask, feel free to ask question. You can pose the question to any of the members who are on the panel. So if you've got a question, you can indicate by means of raising your hand. Okay, we got the hand that is raised. We will give you a platform, but just tell us who you are and which media house are you representing.
Okay, thank you, that you should be. My name is Mahamla Ramaman. I'm from One Free State TV News. I've got 2 questions for DPP. My first question is, how are you going to address the shortage of the personnel in DPP, the National Prosecuting Authority? And then my second question, is it true the NPA has arrested the MEC of Social Development and when she will appear officially in court, or she has been granted bail, and how much?
Thank you that there are more money. I don't know if there's any other question. No, it seems like those are the only questions that we have.
Thank you, Mr. Shubhi. Thank you very much, sir, for your question and your presence here today. With regard to the shortage of personnel, we have been aggressively attending to the recruitment drive. At some stage in the province, we had an almost 33 or 34% vacancy rate in terms of the establishment, but it was much more than that if we have to consider the number of officials who were on extended sick leave, etc. What we have done is that we are prioritizing now our most critical posts. In a number of these posts, the interview process has already unfolded. You will be aware that throughout government, we are sitting with massive budget cuts. So we will definitely fill these posts, but we are going to prioritize them to ensure that we fill the most critical post first. The recruitment process will unfold, and as and when money becomes available, we will also fill those posts as well. However, as I indicated, service delivery is not being compromised. Although it is taking a toll on all prosecutors who are carrying extra workload and extra burden, we make sure that every single court is serviced by a prosecutor and all our matters are effectively being attended to. So we are addressing the shortage of personnel. Fortunately, we had a massive influx of aspirant prosecutors earlier this year, where we in the Free State appointed approximately 70 prosecutors. We are mindful that they are new, we've got to teach them, but at least we are able to utilize them and push upwards from there, taking our more experienced prosecutors to regional court and to the high courts, so that we don't compromise on service delivery and justice. With regard, sir, to your question on the MSc of Social Development, that matter is within the SCCU space, and I'm going to ask Advocate Bakamela to respond very briefly.
No, thank you, sir. Indeed, I just correct that the MSc of Social Development is appearing before our court. I think her first appearance was last Friday, and they were all granted pay ranging from 5,000 to 10,000, and that matter has been postponed until 8 December for disclosure of the docket. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, madam, you can tell us who you are, where you're coming from, and then ask your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shukri. It's not really a question. I just want to say thank you for your presentation. I thought I was going to sit here with the dictionary to go through your law things. But I wanted to ask, is it possible that you're going to get the copy of the presentation?
Yes,
Okay.
most definitely. Mr. Adv Navilla from our head office has it, and we will most definitely share it with all of you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Kadin, are you okay? Brother Daniel, are you okay?
I don't know, fine.
Tatela Khafula, are you okay?
Why not fine?
In absence of any question, then we have come to the end of our media briefing. We will make the statement available. Hopefully it will be in the next 30 minutes. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the media houses that are represented here and thank the management team for being available to give us an update of how the province is performing. So we have come to the end of our media briefing, but we have organized tea and coffee for journalists. If you are somebody who's taking tea or coffee, then you're more than welcome to come and serve yourself. Thank you very much for your attendance. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait,